Hello guys, welcome back to the AWS course. This is Tahir, your instructor. In today's session, we will be learning the Linux basics. AWS supports open source operating systems. It mainly supports open source operating system, and the only operating system that is open source and freely available is Linux. So we'll be learning the Linux operating system. Linux is the operating system which is free and open source. It was built by the Linus Torvalds in 1991. It was influenced by the Unix. Based on the Unix operating system, which was mainly used in the universities and research labs, this Unix operating system was used mainly during that time. So they wanted something which was lightweight and flexible operating system, and they also wanted multi-user and multitasking operating system which should be fast. So Linus Torvalds created this operating system called Linux. Now, this operating system, Linus has made it free and open source. That is, we can modify and redistribute the operating system based on our own requirements. There are different distributions available in the market. They are also known as distros or flavors. So like Red Hat, CentOS, Ubuntu, Debian, Fedora, etc. So Linux operating system has enhanced security and it is mainly used in the servers. So mostly the servers, they run on Linux operating system, and about 90% of the internet is actually powered by the Linux. Even the Android mobile that we use, they use the Linux kernel. Now coming at the Linux architecture, in the Linux architecture mainly has, apart from the hardware, it mainly has the kernel and the shell. So kernel is nothing but a set of functions that make up the heart of the operating system, and it is this kernel is nothing but the application that is, or we can say, an interface between the programs and the hardware, or the programs and physical devices, or we can say that it is the interactive medium or interface between the operating system and the hardware. Now, the services that kernel provides are, it controls the execution of the processes, it schedules the process fairly for execution on the CPU, and it also allocates memory for executing a process. So mainly it deals with the process, controlling, managing all the processes. Next we have the shell. Shell is an interface between the users and the operating system, we can say. So it is the interface between human readable language and machine language, or we can say it's a translator. So we give the commands to the shell. This shell will send it to operating system for processing, and after the processing is done, it is sent back to the user as the output. Now we'll move on how to access the Linux operating system. For that, we can say that we can launch a server, Linux server, on our AWS account. In our AWS account, I have launched an Ubuntu server, and you can connect it. In the previous sessions, we have seen how to launch an Linux based server or Linux based instance and how to connect it. So I'm connecting using the Git bash. So I have already connected. This way you can access the Linux operating system. Now Linux has its file structure, directory structure. We'll see. So Linux directory structure includes, in the top level, it has the root directory. Okay. So top level is the root directory. This slash represents the root directory. All the directories, everything is in the root directory. So there are again multiple directories. Now these directories include different types of files. All these are actually they are inside the root directory. So the top level directory is the root directory. Okay. Now etc directory contains the configuration files. Bin and sbin directory contains the binary files. Dev directory contains the device files, that is the device drivers files. Boot directory contains the bootable files, and a root directory. Now there is difference between this root. This is the top level directory. Okay, and this directory with the name root, this is nothing but root user's home directory. So every Linux operating system has a root user. The root user acts like an administrator user in the Windows operating system. A root user has all the full administrative access, full control on the operating system. Like while creating the AWS free tier account, we have created the root user. We have created an account with a root user. Then we have created a normal user, a IAM user. So root user has full access. Similarly, Linux also has a root user. So the root user's home directory is nothing but the directory with the name root. Next, we have the home directory. This home directory contains the home directories for different normal users. So the users that we create, it contains the directories for the regular users. So like John and Smith, there are two users. So there are two directories with the name John and with the name Smith. So these are the home directories for the users John and Smith. Lib directory contains the library files. Media directory contains the external media or files, that is pen drives, CDs, DVDs, etc. So this is about the Linux directory structure. Now we'll move further. So the symbol in the terminal. So we'll be using the shell. We will be using the shell terminal for accessing or operating the Linux operating system, and we'll be learning some basics commands which are required for our AWS course. Okay, so when we log into Linux, when we connect to a Linux machine, in the terminal you will have two different symbols, a dollar symbol and a hash symbol. A dollar symbol represents the normal user, a regular user. When we switch to root user, it turns to hash. That is, the hash represents the root user. So here we have the dollar symbol. Dollar symbol represents the normal user. Okay. Now there is this first command. We'll see the first command, that is pwd. Pwd stands for present working directory. It is going to display the present working directory, that is the directory in which we are currently available and we are working in it. So it is nothing but home ubuntu slash, that is root home ubuntu. Okay, since we have logged in using the Ubuntu user, the default user provided by the AWS for Ubuntu instances, so the Linux will actually directly open into the Ubuntu user's home directory. So that will be the present working directory. Now, next we have date command. The date command will display the date, the current date and time. Okay. And we have a command called as calendar. Okay. Now calendar command is not found. Calendar command is not found. It can be installed. It can be installed. So it is telling that it can be installed. Okay, so we can install it using the apt package. Okay, apt package manager. This is the package manager available in Ubuntu. Okay, so if I say apt install ncal, it says that it is logged. The permission is denied. It is asking, are you root? So Ubuntu is a normal user. It is not a root user. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use a command called as sudo. Sudo means super user do. That means for any command following the sudo, it is going to apply the super user's privileges. So it is not going to switch to the super user, that is the root user. It is just going to apply the super user privileges. Now sudo apt install ncal. Now it is not going to do it properly. Why? Because whenever we want to install, we actually need to update the repository. We need to update the repository. Again, the app, for that you need to have the super user do privileges. Okay, so I'll do the super user do sudo apt and update. Apt update is going to update the repository. Repository contains the list of packages that are available for the Linux, that is the Ubuntu operating system. So it is going to actually list out, and it is going to get all those packages, and it is going to store, and these packages can be updated now, installed or updated. Now if I run the command sudo apt install ncal, then it is going to install the operating this ncal package. Okay, now this package is installed. Now if I say cal, it is going to display the current month calendar. Okay, now if I want to see the calendar for a specific year, 2023, year 2023, it is going to display all the 12 months of the year 2023. I want to see the calendar of a specific month, like if I say July 2023, is going to display the July 2023.